There he is, the Darth Vader of pro football in this country.
Watch this. Jack Jackson coming across. He's watching ahead. Keep your head on swivel, son. Anthony McClanahan is going to knock you out. And that sometimes will never get called by the referee because it's away from the play.
Ouch, he said. Didn't see it coming. Kickoff taken by Coleman. Crosses the 15. Has a posse in front. Gets a seam. And finally makes it to the 40-yard line. A 27-yard return of a 62-yard kickoff. And Coleman once again is giving the Calgary offense decent field position. Dickinson in this game, 3 of 7 so far for 16 yards.
Well,
Jeff
that's the biggest
Garcia
thing.
upstairs watching today because of the infected left elbow that became infected after a turf burn. On these fields, sometimes they can be septic. They're dirty.
Well, you don't really see them. You see them wet them down. You don't see them wash them. And even when they do wash them, they wash with detergent that can, as you say, get infected into your body.
Argos owning time of possession. Dickinson stretches the defense. Pitts is open and drops the ball. When do you see that?
You'll never see that. I should have said that.
Rob Waldrop with pressure on Dickinson. He hung in, delivered a nice pass.
Well, you can see he's just down. He's got Antonius Bonner. Just takes her to the outside, fakes like he's going to run an outside route, comes back inside. Bonner's in the chase position. That's an easy grab, and you can talk to him anytime, and he'll make sure he knows he should have had that one.
Waldrop and Stewart making Dickinson pay the price as he hung in the pocket and threw a beauty.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a nice throw, and he paid the price.
Alan Pitts has caught 1 of the last 5 balls thrown in his direction. Second and long, Stampeders. Dickinson in the shotgun. Here comes Harris. What a sack! The ball's loose, and the Argos have it. That was vicious.
Well, vicious is not the word. That might be manslaughter.
There's a flag on the play.
They could be offside right here. I think that Johnny Harris lined up late on the outside.
Toronto number 7.
Well, no wonder.
Well, I tell you what, he's offside. Now, on this play, he is offside. Do you give a guy a rough play on this, too? I mean, if he's offside, you can see right here, Dickinson doesn't even see him. It's from the... He's coming right here. Watch this. Oh, my God. Mama mailed me new collarbone.
Fans, you could hear the O go up here as the replay was shown on the Jumbotron. Here it is again. Whack.
Well, they just brought too many guys there, and nobody could pick up Johnny Harris. Bam.
I agree with you. That's almost like an intentional no-yard situation. Maybe they should double the yardage on it. It's 2nd and 5. Dickinson is okay. Throws deep on the pump. He's got Terry Vaughn. It's picked off. Don Smith goes up for it in front of Terry Vaughn. The ball is underthrown. Once again, O'Shea and Stewart were in Dickinson's face.
Well, the height of the defensive backs, we talked about this. They're all 6 feet plus. Watch Pitts, though. He wants to go to Pitts. Johnny Harris is on him like an old glove. Throws it over. Terry Vaughn, first time they got to him, but the thing about having a height on your defensive backfield is you have to drop the ball into the bucket. It's kind of like being at the county fair. You're trying to put the ball in the bucket, baby. You can't put it anywhere else or they'll grab it.
Terry Vaughn, 5 foot 8 inches against the 6 foot defender, Don Smith. There's another shot.
Well, he's taking a beating and he stayed in there.
Dave Dickinson has been taking a beating. The give now to the pinball as the Argos take over on another turnover.
Well,
McClanahan, there you see the code on the side of his head, D2F. That's Doug Flutie, number 2.
I don't know if I'd want Anthony McClanahan walking around. He'd probably put your phone number on there, Mark Lee. You can see him. He keeps fighting. He's working his way through, and he comes through and makes a play on that. He is fired up. He will always give you 100%. He's very colorful, and he loves the attention.
Dennis Rodman, also of the CFL. McClanahan with a steady gaze on defense. Flutie steps into the pocket across the middle, and McClanahan again puts a lick on Jack Jackson.
Well, they're playing smart. This is what you got to do. If you're going to rush 3, tighten your zone package. Don't spread it out so they can find whole seams to sit and catch the ball. Watch McClanahan here. He's got his eye on the quarterback, and he's watching whatever's coming across the middle. He sees it right now. Bam! He's up there with DeLandre Johnson making the play, limiting the gain, punting situation for Toronto.
Good defense. McClanahan, look at him. He's still winded. He has been playing his heart out in this game.
Well, you got to get that from your veterans, and that's what they got to do. Everybody else has got to pick it up. Dickinson's trying to stay in there, hang in there, throw the ball.
Vanderjack, Coleman back to receive this punt. He's been averaging 46.5 and gets a skyrocket. Pushes Coleman inside his 30. Breaks the first tackle, gets a seam up the middle, has some speed, and crosses the 50-yard line. Once again, yeoman work by Marvin Coleman. A 23-yard return of a 55-yard punt. Bonner and Harris make the tackle.
And watch Mike O'Shea. Mike O'Shea is coming down here. You can see John Raposo. They're all trying to square up, stop, settle down. But Coleman, this is something you just can't teach. We've had guys in Winnipeg, I remember over the years, trying to find a quality punt returner, kickoff returner. This is God-given talent right here.
Coming up on the halftime, we'll visit with Frank Clare, the coaching legend who holds the record, 147 wins all time, currently tied with Don Matthews with a win here today. Don Matthews takes over as the most successful coach. Dickinson in trouble, breaks out of the pocket, he'll run with it, goes down at center field, a gain of maybe 3 yards in the play, and Mike O'Shea, a frightening thought is waiting for him.
Well, he just, Rob Waldrop just runs straight over Jay McNeil. I mean, you got to stop this guy. You cannot let this guy go like this right now, or Dickinson will not have enough time to throw the ball, and you'll be stopped early.
Toronto, Kelvin Anderson 1 week ago went over 1,000 yards rushing for the second season in a row, but in this game so far, he's rushed the ball twice on handoffs from backup quarterback Dave Dickinson for only 4 yards. One catch for -3.
Well, you cannot win football games throwing the ball every down. You allow Toronto to do certain things on defense.
Vince Danielson, who himself went over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career this season, last week at home, gets his catch and gets a first down for Calgary. Big target at 6'4".
Oh, big time. You got to use this guy. And the big thing is, getting back to Anderson. Last week, 21 carries for 71 yards. The fact is, you get the offensive lineman to start coming off the ball rather than sitting back in a pass mode.
Danielson, who had 93 yards last week, filling the shoes of Dave Sapunjas, who retired. Dickinson in trouble, and he's called down by Rob Waldrop.
Well, somebody better get a hold of Moses, because the Red Sea is parting right here. And this is unbelievable. You got to get a little bit better protection right now. They're bringing different looks. I understand that. You got a new guy in there. I understand that. You can watch right here. They're running twist. Mike O'Shea just comes on a Mac blitz. They got Reggie Gibbons coming from the outside. Rob Waldrop wraps him up. You can see Marcelo Simmons. It is a sea of blue in there, and they're giving the big boys in red a rough time right now.
Dave Dickinson forced into the starting role with the sudden departure and scratch in the pregame of Jeff Garcia, who has a viral infection. And he's having to be a quick study here. That time he goes to Travis Moore on the hot route, and it's good. And very close to the line of scrimmage.
The original line of scrimmage, that is. And the big thing about that is, that's Travis Moore recognizes they're bringing too many guys. Reggie Gibbons is up there. They got Marcelo Simmons up there. You're going to have to do some adjustment. He comes in.
Johnny Harris has been having an aggressive day on defense for Toronto. You saw Moore leaving with his arm dangling. Looks like it's hurt.
Well, this defense takes turns of making stars out of defensive backs. If it's not Marcelo Simmons, it's Lester Smith, there's Johnny Harris, it's Adrian Smith, or one of the other Smith brothers. They all are involved in the package. They understand each other's assignment, and not only do they understand how it works, the biggest thing is they understand why it works.
Mark McLaughlin will attempt a 52-yard field goal. That would be the longest of the year for him. Dickinson the hold, lots of leg, good distance, and it's good. Mark McLaughlin 2 for 2 on the afternoon, and the only scoring machine so far today for the Stampeders. They trail Toronto 24-6 with 1:26 to go in the first half.
Well, they're taking, one of the things that's happening in this game so far, there's Vince Danielson. They are taking Vince Danielson out of the game. They're not allowing him to be the primary receiver. Watch his blocking. Here he's got to get a shot on Gibbons. He's shot on Bonner. He's trying to block. They're keeping him in there right now. They know if they bring too many defenders, he's got to stay in there. Watch this job. Lester Smith, and a great job of throwing his body on Marcelo Simmons. Again, the third time he comes back. Now he's picking up Lester Smith, the strong safety. Finally he gets out, gets a pass. But what they're doing, what Toronto's doing, is negating or not allowing Danielson to become a factor in the pass-catching category, making him turn into an extra offensive lineman.
Must feel like he's playing in traffic out there.
Well, he's been working on his guns. You can see his guns right here. He's got some good biceps going here, baby. And I tell you what, next year they're going to be bigger if he has to block like this all game.
Vince Danielson forced into a blocking role. At times not knowing which way to look.
Well, he knows which way to look. The protection is called inside out, which means he takes the inside guy first, tries to knock him off, direction him, and come back outside. I think he's done an excellent job of being able to block 2 people when your normal assignment is 1. You got to give full kudos to Vince Danielson.
So far, Mike Clements gets full marks for his assignment today. 2 touchdowns already in the first half, and he's the lone man back deep to return this kick from Mark McLaughlin. At his own 13, the pinball winds it up. Runs right into traffic, bounces off some tackles. And again, some aggressive coverage on the play. Aldi Henry breaks the tackle. A 25-yard return. There are flags on the play as tempers flare.
Big Raymond Biggs involved in the altercation. There's a lot of ugliness out there right now, a lot of bad feelings going on. Calgary did not expect, 1, probably not to be without Jeff Garcia, but 2, to be down by a 24-6 count at this time in the game. And you can see that on special teams, they're taking exception to the way they're being blocked. And a lot of tempers are flaring out there.
Back on August 7th, it was a close football game at the half. 23-21. Calgary.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto number 36. Objectionable conduct. Calgary number 44. First down.
Lester Smith and Raymond Biggs, and here's what happened.
As you can see, Biggs is just fighting off Lester Smith right now. Lester Smith is all over him. He got a little glove in there right now. Keeps working, keep working. Ooh. A little face jack, oh boy, I tell you what. Tough man contest going out there. Who can dent the face mask? Don't be scared, though. You can't hurt yourself with those masks. It looks worse than it really is.
Mike Clemens now 194 yards all-purpose in the first half. Flutie looking for Paul Masadi. He one-hops it.
And a nice job by Calgary doing something a little different. They're bringing number 17 on a blitz right from the outside. That's what you got to do to try and switch it up a little bit. You can't give him the same look every time or Flutie will just kill you.
And that's what he's doing. Look at those numbers.
Well, 3 touchdowns first half, 177 yards. Only 42 yards for Dickinson right now. But I still think Dickinson has to involve the running game a little bit more to try and take some of the pressure off him when he's throwing the ball.
Marvin Coleman is step for step with the pinball today, playing on the corner and running back kicks. Flutie steps up and looks deep down the sideline. It's complete to Daryl Mitchell with coverage that couldn't be any closer from Eddie Davis.
Well, I'll tell you what. He needed 77 yards today to beat Rocket Ishmael's record of 1,300 yards receiver for a rookie. He's on that way. Watch this. Just kind of dually dogs along a little bit around there. Davis gives him a little stop, stutter step. Tremendous concentration. That's the thing that impresses me most about this guy. This is not a rookie out there making catches. This is a veteran.
And that's a standard to match the Rocket. Mitchell now 9 yards short of the mark with 68. Flutie scrambling, looking for the first down marker. McClanahan tracking him down, and he gets out of bounds.
Well, I think Doug Flutie, had it been anybody else, would have tried to turn it up. He sees McClanahan coming off him. He knows he's got his face painted for war. He says, I'm taking this wagon, I'm turning it out.
And so Flutie with a 6-yard gain. McClanahan ran about 60 yards trying to chase him out of bounds.
Well, these are 2 gifted athletes, both of them, on both sides of the ball right now. Both McClanahan with his speed and Flutie with his speed and smarts.
You mentioned he's got the face painted for war, the new dye job with Flutie's initials and numbers in his hair. And he's psyched up. Pinball stopped immediately by Darrell Hall. That was the first real close coverage we've seen all day on the pinball.
And I like the fact that Darrell Hall is sitting tight on the pinball. He knows pinball's the outlet. He just sits there, limits the gain to nothing.
Daryl Mitchell, a lock for the Rookie of the Year, wouldn't you say? He needs just 10 yards to pass Rocket Ismail's rookie receiving record. That was 1,300 yards set back in 1991.
And he did win rookie.
And on the Jumbotron here at the Skydome. Mike Pinball record being saluted with a new Argo record for 117 receptions in a single season.
You know what I like about this is you're going to look at the Toronto Argonaut fact book. The first half of the Argo fact book is going to be about all the players. The second half of the phone book is going to be about all the records that Pinball Clemens and Doug Flutie have had in their years of success with the Toronto Argonauts. They have just done amazing things, both of them.
Mike Clemens with another record to add to a growing list. This was the scene as he broke his own all-purpose yards record, 3,300, 2 weeks ago. The last week against Montreal, he's in fine form despite the hard knocks he took.
Well, the hits he's taken, I mean, not only is he playing running back, as we talked about, taking the normal hits and pounding there, but he gets the ball out of the backfield. Today, he's probably thanking him, but he's not returning punts so far. He's just returning the kicks. He probably would like to do it all, though. The man never stops smiling. He's probably one of the most positive guys you could ever have in the locker room.
Now, he has always been mentioned as the third man in the balloting on this team for a most outstanding player, but how can you overlook him with those numbers?
Well, that's a great question, and I think as Doug Flutie throws that ball out of bounds, you got to look at three guys. Pinball Clemens on any other team is a runaway MVP for that team. He is unfortunately saddled with, and I hate to use that word, but Doug Flutie, Robert Drummond, Daryl Mitchell. I mean, they got so many great players in this squad.
But let's make the point. He takes a little flat pass and then makes something out of it. He does more after the catch than any receiver I've ever seen in this league.
Oh, he does a tremendous amount. I mean, his foot movement and his ability to make moves in open field. We're just very truly lucky to be watching this guy in this league.
Flutie, second and long, pressure, gets away from Jermaine Miles, scrambles left, points out a receiver, and he's got Paul Mazzani for a touchdown. Paul Mazzani playing with sore ribs just inside the flag at the end zone with Marvin Coleman all over him. Watch.
Well, this is unbelievable. Doug Flutie, first off, avoids a sack. Jermaine Miles has him wrapped up. Should be a sack. Gets outside it. Mazzani's looking around. He's following. He just takes it down the field. Puts his body to the ball. Shields the defensive back. Makes an easy grab. Bam, touchdown.
And he is hurting. You can tell he's favoring those tender ribs. That ball was in the air before he even turned around. That's how well they know each other.
Well, that's right. They've done a lot of stuff working after practice, a lot of route running. And you mentioned the ribs. Yeah, he fell on the ball, but I guarantee getting a touchdown, he's a little bit happier about that. If this game gets out of hand, don't be surprised to see Paul Mazzani sitting and Norm Casola coming in and playing his spot.
Well, this game is quickly getting out of hand with 23 seconds to go. It's 31-6 Argos. Here's a look from the end zone.
Well, we mentioned this. Look at Doug. Doug is running. This is a sack. He should be wrapped up. Jermaine Miles knows it. He allows Flutie a second chance, and if you give this guy two chances at one play, this is what happens.
Flutie having one of his best first halves all time, now with 245 yards passing and 4 TDs, the fourth to his buddy, Paul Mazzani.
And you can see that he's happy. He says, hit me on the helmet, hit me on the shoulder pads, but please don't hit me in the ribs.
A 7-play, 77-yard drive that took just over a minute to complete.
And I'd rather you didn't mention tender ribs, because every time you mention tender ribs, I think of a barbecue, and I'm getting kind of hungry up here, so perhaps you could refrain from the food sayings.
What a competitor, Paul Mazzani, sticking in this game despite the fact he has very sore ribs.
And we mentioned the fact that Calgary hasn't been able to run Anderson. They're taking Anderson right out of the game now. So with the blocking, Danielson's out. The fact that the score is so one-sided, now Anderson can't be used as a running back. They got to throw the ball. This is exactly what Toronto wants.
Terry Vaughn with a 25-yard return of a 60-yard boot from Vanderjack, and Mike O'Shea, one of the top special team men in the league.
He's got 26 tackles. He's second in the league coming down. Watch him come down here. Through the block. Determination. He's running on one leg there. Still fights the block. Fights through his second. Farrell Declare. His third. Farrell Declare again. It makes the play. This is the guy that starts at middle linebacker for you. And he's doing all these things for you on special teams. I want to be his agent. That's what I want.
The kind of guy who'll go into the corners for you. Mike O'Shea, as you mentioned, number 2 in special team tackles, 2 behind Wade Miller coming into this game. Oh, and nearly picked off Dave Dickinson. And Ken Benson, perhaps the most underrated linebacker in the league, gets his mitts on that.
Well, I think this whole team is underrated. I mean, they have a lot of stars in this team, but they got so many really, really excellent players, much like the pinball scenario where they are if they were on other teams would be stars. You can see right here, Dave Dickinson tries to get something on the ball. Doesn't look like he gets a whole lot on it, but Benson comes down with the paw, puts it up, and almost comes up with the interception.
Looking for Terry Vaughn, trying to get him into this game. 2nd down and 10. Calgary. Dickinson wide side. He had Danielson open, but underthrew him.
Well, I think they're going to have to make some adjustments on the sideline or at halftime. They got 7 seconds left, but Pitts is wide open down the center of the field. Dickinson doesn't see him. Now, one of the things you got to do, we've talked about this, is you got to stretch Toronto's defense. Toronto likes it when you want to just run the little out passes, the little 10-yard dekes, because what happens is they can suck their linebackers up, play tighter to the line, therefore eliminating any chance of running the ball. If you stretch them, you got an opportunity to do 2 things. If you don't stretch them, you're really hurting yourself offensively.
The insurance agent, Tony Martino, back to punt for Calgary. 45-yard average. It's blocked. Danielson has it. There's a flag on the play, and Danielson's across center field. Gets a great block from Kenton Leonard, who hobbles off the field. Don Smith got his hands on the punt.
Well, this will be a very interesting call right here. First off, the punt was blocked. Danielson came up with the blocked punt as it came down. Now, are they going to call no yards?
How can they call no yards?
Well, this is I know, this is unbelievable. First off, they block. It should be a live ball. But they're saying because of that.
Here's Dave Ewell with the decision.
No yard. Calgary number 88. 1st down.
Well, I got to wonder about that call because, you know, as they say, if the ball is blocked, the ball should be live.
That's what I thought.
Unless the ball doesn't go past the original line of scrimmage. That might be the key point here. If it doesn't go beyond the original line of scrimmage, then you have to give no yards and allow the defenders a time to catch it. But
now there's no time left on the clock because of the penalty. The half can't end on a penalty, and so the Argos will get one more play, and that means a Mike Vanderjagt field goal attempt from the 33-yard line. Talk about rubbing salt into the wounds. Vanderjagt is simply perfect, and the Argos run the score at the half to 34-6. What a half, what a performance by the Toronto Argonauts, who lead big at halftime from the Skydome in Toronto. The Stamps will try to regroup.